Well, hello from Wagner Farms. Well, we're moving the cattle this morning. You can see it's raining just a little bit. But this is the paddock that we've taken them out of. You can see how they've eaten it down pretty well. They were in this paddock for about 2 days. And we have just now moved them over to this one. You can see the big difference in the grass. But it is still a nice day. It's raining just a little bit, but it's not too terribly bad. Could be worse. It could be cold and raining. But we moved them over, and we're gonna set up a couple other paddocks right now. We're pulling up the old line, or I say old line, pulling up the poly wire from the paddock they're in, and we'll take a look at the cattle here in just a little bit. But I mean, it's very, very definite. One of the great things about where the cattle were and how they took down the all the old grass, if you'll look right over in here. Now all of this area was grown up really bad. But they came in here, and the grass that was good, they ate it down. They trampled down a lot of the big tall grass, like what you see right over there. They trampled it down. You can see how they did it. And they pooped and they peed and they worked the ground up a little bit to get it to where it was good, but yet not so much that they tore it up. So that's aerating the ground. But it's funny when you put the cattle in a new paddock. Now the first thing they're going to do, they'll run from one end to the other, literally seeing what their new boundaries are. Now this paddock that we did this time is actually a little bit bigger than what they have been in the past as far as width. Now, yesterday these cattle were in this area, and I was gonna move them yesterday evening, but they were all bedded down chewing their cud, and they were just extremely happy. And I thought, no, we'll just leave them there another day. As you can see, they ate it down, but they didn't do damage to it. It could be preferably a little bit taller would be best, but it's still in pretty good shape. But as you can see, this is the advantage of having this poly wire and getting your cattle to where they're trained to just a single strand. You can go into an area where there is pasture and no fences, and you can have cows. Makes it nice. Makes it very nice. But when we take up the fence, it's as simple and as easy and as fast as what you see being done right here. Pop it off, pull the post. Not hard.
Taking probably 10 minutes for us to move the cattle and pick up the previous day's line. So the old rumor about this being too time consuming is really just not valid.
It can be a little wet at times, but that's about it.
Yeah. Sometimes we get a little damp, but that's beside the point.
Yep.
If you look at it, it's taking a shower.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And we'll just stop for right now, and we'll take a look.
Hey, let's give a shout out to
Oh yeah, there you
go. To a couple of the guys up in Central Kentucky that are kind of looking into this maybe a little bit. Nephew-in-law, I guess, is what you would say.
In other words, it's one of our relatives. They're thinking about getting into doing the strip grazing. They've seen the progress that we've had and what we are doing with it and what we're able to do with it. The key to it is what I had said earlier, of getting your cattle trained to a single wire. And you can do that if you have an area that is fenced. Take that single wire strand and run it around inside, and curiosity is going to get them, and they're going to come over and touch it, and they'll quickly learn, hey, this single strand is something we don't cross. And you're able to keep cattle in an area where you don't have fences once you get them trained to that. Now the great thing about these reels is a 3-to-1 ratio. So for every crank of that handle, it basically is 3 cranks of the reel itself. But you can take and reel it up. You can either walk it down and reel, or you can pull all the posts up like what we did, and then reel it all the way at one time. The great thing about it is it can be a real workout. So if you want your aerobics, and if you do it fast enough, you'll get your heart rate up.
Yeah, and you'll work on your forearm. And you'll also, on a wet morning, take a shower.
But then
that's all there is to reeling it up.
And so
it
it goes real fast. So as you can see, we took this paddock up. Literally, it took maybe 10 minutes to do it. It just doesn't take very long.
And one thing we haven't shown you is how we complete a circuit with the poly braid.
And this is the great thing with the poly braid, because as you can see, it's very flexible. And all you have to do is literally put it in there and wrap it around your poly braid. That's going to be the hot wire, which is here, which right now is definitely not on. But you take and wrap it around it, bring it around your post a couple of times, hook it back in, and that's it.
That's it.
And it's on.
Now
we'll be on.
We've got a circuit completely around the cattle. Runs down along this northern border, and then up the western side and the eastern side, and then all the way up at the southern border is where it connects into the charger. So very simple. It's just not any big problem at all.
Okay, over here we'll take a look at the cattle, and of course our Herefords. We don't have many of them. We've got a few of them left. There. The Herefords have always been a breed that I have always loved, and up until we got the South Poles.
Here's our 12, number 12. She is my favorite cow of the whole bunch. We bought her in Virginia. She had a really nice heifer, which she's due to calve this year also. But you can see she is right on the verge of calving. Take a look here at the grass, at the stockpile that we've got. Of course, it's starting to green up a good bit, but this grass here had not been grazed at all. As we said before, this has been a farm that we've only been able to cut hay on in the past. But you can see, if you get down here close, how much winter stockpile there is in addition to the green coming up. So they get value out of even that brown grass that's there. Not as much as the green, obviously, but we've got a lot of...
And the brown grass on the ground is literally, it's just like having hay.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's not as much nutrition, there is still some there, but it also provides that bulk matter that keeps the green grass that they're eating from causing their manure from being too liquefied.
Right, and then the brown that they don't eat is going to become litter on the ground, which is worm food, which will add to your organic matter in the soil. And that's our purpose, is to build this ground back with organic matter and get it back to the fertility that will sustain further growth of the ground. So it's just kind of a snowball once the process starts, if you manage everything right.
Now, one of the things, for instance, this farm, the last time this farm had cattle on it has been about 9 years ago. that was the last time that they were here on this farm. So this ground actually had a lot of time to rest, but we have cut for 3 years. We've cut hay off of it for 3 years and didn't put any fertilizer down. So the ground is still in really good shape, but we're wanting to build it up to where it's in great shape, and that's what we'll do by doing this type of grazing. Is you put all those minerals back down. And as I had stated on the video when the sun was shining yesterday, we're going to be doing the trace mineral cafeteria style. That way the cattle will actually put what mineral they need. They'll take it little by little and put that back on the ground. That in turn puts the mineral back in the ground.
I think what the percentage is, as I understand it, is about 60% of the mineral they take in, they actually put back on the ground. So if they're eating, let's say, potash, potassium, real heavily in your cafeteria style mineral, that means that the potash is low on the soil. So when they poop that out, there's going to be 60% of that that they took in put back on the soil, which is going to build your soil with that particular mineral. And that goes for manganese, magnesium, iron, copper, all the different minerals that soil should have. When you do that, then you're going to build your total soil content up in all the minerals, trace minerals included, which is going to make a better quality beef when they are processed.
So that makes two things: beautiful pastures and a beautiful steak on your plate.
Tasty.
Tasty.
Yes.
Beautiful, tasty steak.
Yes.
Yeah.
With high density nutrition.
Which is just one thing that is, quite honestly, our food is missing today.
Yeah, we'll do a video on that more later, but it will shock you how the quality of our food
has gone down
in the last 40 years, 50 years.
Now here's this one that's walking off over here. That's number 27. I was hoping she'd let us get a little bit closer. She's eating and walking, but she is one of them that as about 6 of them, we're expecting to have a calf any day. But we thought she was going to have it during the cold snap. She actually started to have a little bit of the mucus plug to break down, but then she's crossed her legs and now she's just waiting and enjoying the grass. So we are definitely waiting for new calves to hit the ground, yeah. And that has not happened yet. It's every day we come out here and it's like, all right, did we win the lottery today? Well, no, not today. We didn't yesterday, but it's going to happen at some point. They'll start calving.
Evidently we're more ready than they are.
Yeah. One of the other advantages of your cattle being this docile is you can get out amongst them and you can walk, and that's something this polywire will do, because you're moving your cattle every day or every other day or even twice a day, depending upon how you're setting it up. The cattle get used to you and they realize when you come that they are getting ready to move to basically a new salad bar. But everybody is doing good. We still have a bunch that is this one here in front of us. You can tell she's swollen a little bit, and this one over here, she's swollen a little bit. So we're just waiting.
They're really starting to make a showing, so we keep anxiously waiting.